Ambassador Devri, Professor Majumdar, fellow panelists and speakers, and dear friends, which includes faculty and students both. I'm extremely delighted to be part of this conference. I'm really honored. Considering the time constraint, I think I'll straight away go to my presentation. But I just want to start with the question that would anybody also want to think that why are we doing this conference? Why? Well, this is part of soft power diplomacy. Conferences are very important tools of soft power diplomacy, and we are very clever. Your university, as ambassadors and ministries and everybody, we want to target our youth right away. So we want to brainwash you. Oops. Sorry, technology. You'll help. You'll have to help. I'm just trying to link the soft power diplomacy and IORA and what's happening at the moment. All the eminent speakers have already mentioned in great detail about lots of things. So I'll just quickly summarize everything in every slide. Journey from IRA to IORA. I mean, it was established in 97. And then why did it take so much time for it to activate, for all the countries of IORA to come together? There was some stagnancy, some problems. Of course, at the time when IORA was formed, we were also gripped with some challenges, some problems, the Asian crisis, followed by the financial crisis and other things. It took some time. But what kept us together? The civilizational links, the cultural links, people-to-people contact. And that is why the emphasis on cultural links. At the 11th meeting, and I want to come back to the cultural links, again emphasizing, there were 6 important areas which were identified. And tourism promotion, cultural exchanges was the very important element of all those 6 aspects of our relations. Why? Because we go back to the same thing. When there are problems, only the people-to-people contact keep us intact. Now, civilizational links, I don't want to go in detail. These are listed in the presentation, and this presentation hopefully will be circulated to you. These go long back. I mean, we share millennia-old relations. There are evidences of, veneration of Rama in Chakri dynasty, ancient kingdom of Ayutthaya in Thailand, temple of Prasad Priya Vihara in Cambodia, biggest temple we have already talked about, Angkor Wat. The city of Bhubaneswara had links in Kalinga times with Indonesia and Sri Lanka. Bauthi Badana is a festival of worshipping the ships, which is still done in Bhubaneswar, which is to symbolize, to worship the nature for the good luck, for the ships which go in the deep seas. And this particular festival, you will find the celebration of these in the countries of these IRA members, which include Sri Lanka, Bali, Java, Sumatra, Malay, Vietnam. And during Rajendra Chola, there was such an expansion of trade and also the culture towards Southeast Asia. We are not limiting when we say IORA, not only to the South Asian east of India, but we have to really focus on the west of Asia also. Each time we talk about IORA, the visual that comes to our mind is mostly that we are always talking about east of India. But sorry, that's not the thing. We have to go to far west, and when we go to far west, we find, and there are evidences of our strong ties, which primarily were because of the trade relations with the East Africa, Gulf, West Asia, and these are not limited to only trade, but also in the form of art, exchanges in the cultural and linguistic areas also. Of late, migration and a very, very dynamic migration amongst the people of all these countries in this region have played really big role in bringing these exchanges, not in terms of only trade, economics, etc., but in every sphere. Now, when we talk about this organization, it began with economics and based primarily for the economic cooperation. But why are we talking about now going strategic or talking about strategic, developing more strategic cooperation in this region? Again, the statistics has been already shared with you with the speakers yesterday and by the speakers yesterday and the speakers today. So this is what is why it is important. 90% of trade volume and 90% of oil imports take place throughout the seas of these Indian Ocean. 40%, over 40 states and nearly 40% world population is here. Most of the trade that happens through the ocean, the ocean region. Now, although there are opportunities and many things that we can do together, but we also share challenges. Like Ambassador Talmiz Ahmed mentioned, that we cannot shy off, we cannot close our eyes from what challenges we are facing. I have just summarized what Ambassador Ahmed had detailed in his presentation in just one bullet point, and that is from natural disasters to piracy, terrorism, illegal fishing, oil spills, and effect of climate change. They are all gripping us, and we have to find solutions for them. But of course, they cannot be done in isolation. So this association becomes very important because we share the challenges also. We have to find the solutions together. India's vision, and I'm talking about what is the current vision. What we term it as SAGAR, the Indian Ocean Outreach Initiative that at the moment we are working on, and it has been termed as SAGAR, is based precisely on this, that we have to share, we have to come together, we have to be based on fostering, increasing cooperation in our region, use of our capabilities in shared manner, but not in isolation. I mentioned that the association was primarily formed because of the economic needs, because of the economic cooperation. But why are we talking about going strategic? Because of these challenges. This is the need of the hour. We can be happy talking about civilizational links. We can be happy doing trade. But both the things need protection. They need to be secured. And they need to be secured by our own capabilities. So yes, that is why amongst us, we do need strategic ties. Then we are talking about not maybe about, but in a way, strengthening our defense capabilities. And that is why we have to talk about strategic ties, not just strengthening our own capabilities, but also strengthening the capabilities of our member states. And we have to recognize the need of the hour and go ahead. Several frameworks are in place, and India has taken lead in some of them. Indian Ocean Naval Symposium is there. Indian Navy has been playing an important role when it comes to address the piracy matters in the seas, and likewise. Now, coming back from strategy to soft power again. So how do we define soft power? Ambassador Devre had right in the beginning mentioned that soft power are the measures that you use to attract or to make other nations your friends by not being coercive. That's fine. But do we really be stuck to soft power only? I'm now here talking about just soft power or hard power or something else. What should we do? So in that context, it is important that soft powers should now, maybe it's time to think about it, and India should move from soft to smart power. It's not just about using the tools, but maybe using the tools in the context we are functioning. At the moment, the context is the global shift of powers. China becoming more powerful. We have to guard our own strategic interests. So do you think that only soft power will help in that? Maybe not. So just concentrating on tools may not really help, and we have to really effectively use our approaches to make our whole approach more smarter. So maybe it's a need to re-understand soft power. For me, the easiest way is whatever is not hard is all soft power. And that is where we talk about who all will deliver this responsibility of soft power diplomacy. Usually, where I represent an organization which is primarily working on the cultural exchange, but when we are talking about soft power, every time people think it is about Naach Gana. But no, it's not just about Naach Gana or publishing books or just sending academicians. It's much beyond that. And soft power means that everybody is responsible. All the ministries, the governments, the state governments, even the people, the community. Today, it's really embarrassing when our Prime Minister has to tell us and remind us again and again that apne ghar ko saaf rakho, apni gali ko saaf rakho, apne iman ko saaf rakho. I mean, it's really embarrassing that we as a community cannot keep our houses clean, keep our neighborhood clean. So that is where the community's responsibility is also there. You all have to play a role in making India a real big soft power. I'm mentioning this particularly, why? Because like some of our speakers mentioned, that we should do Islamic tourism. We should do Buddhist tourism. We are doing that. It's not that we are not doing that. We have a Buddhist circuit. But do we have good hotels? Do we have good airport connectivity? Do we have roads? Approaching Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is the monument that every foreign delegation wants to visit, but just try and approach Taj Mahal. Thanks that we have an expressway now. But tourism, I mean, we cannot talk about tourism outside India unless inside India is as powerful as what we talk about soft power. So for us to be able to convince or attract countries, nations, other nations or other countries, we have to be equally effective from within. So that's very important, and which is why the responsibility is a shared responsibility. And this links again, talking about the responsibility and coming back again to what now ICCR is doing in the context of cultural relationships. Although we share all the responsibilities, as ICCR, what our organization is responsible, I'll briefly talk about that. We have been talking about soft power since 90s, since Joseph Nye coined this term, but the thing is that India has been promoting soft power much before that. ICCR was established in 1950, and since then it has been promoting cultural exchange with other countries. Coming straight to what tools we are using, we have both, a speaker spoke about two-way exchange, and that is what ICCR focuses. It, by way of its scholarship program, fellowship programs, and incoming cultural groups program, we bring the research scholars and artists to India, and with the help, by way of establishing Indian chairs overseas and culture centers and major cultural festivals, we take India's culture outside. Those are basically the tools that we use for promoting culture. But we are just one amongst many who have to share this responsibility of projecting India as a major soft power country. Lastly, I would just like to conclude saying that civilizational and cultural links, people-to-people links, form base for relations between nations. Economic trade links are the elements that ensure survival of nation states and hence are crucial. Both of them have to be protected, and that's why we have to go strategic, build our military capabilities. At the same time, continuous investment in nurturing civilizational and cultural links through the soft power diplomacy is important. In times of stagnation or in times of problems or conflict, it is only the cultural links and people-to-people contacts that keep the relations alive. Thank you.